Some teachers are amazing. Others are not so amazing. At my elementary school, there were only 2 male teachers, one in 3rd grade and one in 4th grade. I had both of them. I've never been so laid back in school. But today, I want to specifically talk about my 4th grade teacher, Mr. Bates, even though I doubt he'd care if I used his real name. Anyway, Mr. Bates was by far my favorite teacher. He was really funny, and you might say, aren't all male teachers funny? Yeah, but Mr. Bates was different. He was more funny. I didn't know much about him when I first got him as a teacher, but apparently everyone else wanted him. One of my first experiences with him was when I was going to throw something out, and I don't know what I was doing. I might have just been in a glad mood that day, because I started dancing. What are you doing? Nothing. And from that day forward, But throughout the year, he would do certain stuff like jump out the window. It was a 1-story building. Just leave the classroom and start singing Green Eggs and Ham to the 1st graders. I am Sam, I am, so you want the green eggs and ham. In library that year, I had a teacher named Mr. Despacito. That's actually pretty close to his real name. In my elementary school, library was an actual class where you did projects and stuff. I know, it's weird. And one of our projects was to make a slideshow or video presentation about a state. Me and my partner, Brana, she probably doesn't care if I use her real name either. Anyway, we decided to pick the state Wyoming. I cannot stress this enough. It's hard to do a presentation on the most boring state in the world. Sorry for the 2 people who live there who's watching right now. But we got it done about 2 weeks before it was due. And as you probably already know from watching previous videos, I'm too extra. So when we finished the project, as you know, we had about 2 weeks until we presented. So what did we do? We made a song. When we presented, everyone loved it. It was stuck in everyone's heads for the next week. And if it was a competition, we would have won. When Mr. Bates came to pick us up, we showed him the video, and it was stuck in his head too. Ooh, yeah, Wyoming. Another thing was he had this ringtone, and literally every time he left the room, the phone conveniently rang. And literally for the whole year, every single time he left the gosh darn room, it played. And sometimes it wasn't that song, but it was always some weird kind of rap. One time it even had a bad word in it. Stupid. And speaking of rap, I made him a mixtape. At the end of the year, we were supposed to do something called Switch the Teacher Day, where all the teachers would switch with each other, and Mr. Bates was going to be principal. Oh, Lord. But that day never came. Because it kept getting postponed, then eventually it just didn't happen. I also mentioned that 3rd grade teacher. His name will be Mr. Spaghetti. He was a lot more laid back, and he would often join in on what the kids were doing. He basically let us be more free. He would let us do whatever we wanted in recess and stuff. I used to do this thing called live chat. It was basically Google Slides. I would make one and then share it with everyone in the class so they can join in and do whatever they wanted. And by the end, there was a whole bundle of interesting stuff by 3rd graders. Also, I'm pretty sure he let some students use his phone during recess. Maybe 1 time. He was also an amazing teacher. Actually, I surprisingly like all my teachers that I've ever had. I've never really had a teacher I didn't like. Luckily, for example, my teachers this year. I had 3 main teachers. Mr. Wheelie, Mrs. Shacker, and Mr. Gross. And all of them I liked. They didn't do anything remarkably amazing, but they were just good teachers. They cared about teaching, they were nice, and they were helpful. That's what you want in a teacher. You want them to actually care about teaching. That's why they're my favorite group of teachers so far. I don't like throwing out sharp opinions because I don't want any of them to be mad if they watch this for some reason. And if they are, hi Mr. Bates, Mr. Despacito, Mr. Spaghetti, Mr. Wheelie, Miss Shacker, and Mr. Gross. Hope you enjoyed me in your class.